I mean, I think we're at a really interesting point in the history of the medium in that we're seeing games that are very much about games, in like a very intentional way. Like I think that why, the Stanley Parable connected with people so much is because it was essentially a video game about the experience of playing video games, right? And like having these common reference points and these assumptions and upending those assumptions. I mean, it was part of what the big twist in the first BioShock game was about, right? Was like your role as the player of a video game. And we've seen other stuff that's more literal, like the NES remix stuff that came out, where it's like Nintendo is making games about Nintendo games for people that played them when they were growing up. I think that's an important point in the life of a medium. I mean, it was that you started to see it in, like the French New Wave in film, where it was like these are the first people who were born after film was a part of everyday life for as long as they can remember, and now their films are as much about the human subjects as about film and film going and filmmaking itself, right? And so I think that it really means something that there are games about games in an explicit way, not just about like a progression of like refining game mechanics or whatever. In Gone Home, we put some nods like the 0451 is the first key code that you find as an acknowledgement of our inspirations, and as one of those pointers towards like here are the design values that we have. It's sort of a dog whistle, It's like for players that know what that means, it has meaning. For everyone else, it's just like, okay, that's a key code. But for us, it's a way of kind of showing gratitude, I think, to the games that led to us building this one the way that we did. So yeah, there's this whole spectrum of what it means to, I think, acknowledge your forebears in a lot of ways. And for us, we want it to be much more about how it influenced the player's experience as opposed to being like a very foregrounded thing. But I think that the like very open games about games are also fascinating to see coming up.